Okay, so first off, sorry that it took a little bit to get this video out, but it this past week just got kind of busy with the kids and having to do real world stuff, and don't mind the spit up on my shirt from my 8-month-old. Very professional. So professional. But anyway, I finally got around to watching this latest episode of Before the 90 Days, and yeah. So I'm just gonna say, okay, with Cleo and Christian, like you don't even have to put the transgender thing into that's not even a debate at this point. This relationship, I can already tell you it's not gonna work because even in just this past episode, the relationship is not gonna work because extrovert and then person with autism. And now, of course, there is nothing wrong with being a person who has autism, something you can't control. It's just the way it is. That doesn't mean, you're a bad person, you don't deserve love. And same for the extroverted. This coming from a person who is very introverted, by the way. But neither of them are bad, like inherently bad in this is the person they are, this is how they live their life, this is what they feel comfortable with and don't. The problem is they're trying to make a relationship and it's just not gonna work. As I mean, even in this last episode, they were at a nice, and it was a place I liked, it was by the water, it was pretty quiet, like this little cafe or something. I'm not totally sure what it was. But she took him there. It was a good place for her because it was open, it was quiet, there weren't too many people. So, for someone, she's 32, had autism all this time, she knows places she's comfortable with, and that's where she wanted to go. And it's like I said, there's nothing, I'm not saying she's a bad person because she has autism, because of course she's not, And the thing is with autism, like people like, oh, she could try to be a little more extroverted. Well, you can't expect someone, one, to change. Even if she was just an introverted person, you can't, that's not fair to expect someone to change something about them. But especially when it's something that's neurological like autism, there is literally, even if she wanted to try to be more extroverted, like it's just not going to happen. That's just not the kind of person she is. Autism makes it very difficult to change yourself. So she took him there and he's like, okay, well, I want to get a drink in you. Let's go to this kind of crazier bar. And they were in this, pretty cramped and crowded. It was a lot of lights and music and a lot of people. Something that he felt more comfortable in. And again, that's fine. That's fine that he's extroverted. That's fine that for him, the louder, crazier bar is more where he wanted to be. The big problem, though, comes in again. You are trying to date a person who is autistic. And I'm not saying he has to change his extroverted ways. Like, he shouldn't have to not be who he is to be with someone. These two, it's pretty damn clear. These two are just not right for each other. Let's just get that one. I'm sorry, but these two, they are just not right for each other. You are putting very different people, because he was saying, on a plane, how, and I'll agree it was a little weird, and maybe it's just the introverted person in me talking, but it was weird because he was talking about on the flight over, he had some drinks on the plane, and he was walking down the aisles and everybody was asleep, but there was these two girls who were 21 and they were awake, and they felt kind of weird, so he tried to go get drinks to drink with them from the flight attendant, and the flight attendant was like, oh, I heard about you, I'm not handing you anything. And he didn't see anything wrong with it. He's like, I'm just making friends. And then Cleo was like, well, no, that's weird. If that was me, someone was approaching me like that, I would feel extremely uncomfortable and that'd be weird. And they're coming from two completely different views. Even just in something like that. And there was, this group of girls, and he was just wanting to talk with them because he's a kind of person who goes out and goes crazy and makes friends. In his introduction thing, he's like, I'm the life of the party. And that's just who he is. And he was like, oh, hey, you know, what's going on? Oh, okay, you guys are celebrating a birthday? Oh, that's cool. And he, you know, he made it clear he wasn't flirting, and that he's like, hey, you know, this is my girlfriend Cleo. I'm here meeting her in person for the first time. And he was trying to, like, you know, hang out with them. So it's clear that he's not, like, trying to be flirtatious or anything. He's just a dude that's extremely extroverted and extremely friendly when he goes out. Makes friends wherever he goes. Nothing wrong with that. Cleo doesn't like that, though, because it makes her feel, you know, like he doesn't care about her and isn't paying attention to her, and she can't be in those kinds of situations, because it ended like he was trying to get her to come over and talk, and she's like, no, there's just too many people, I can't, like, I'm very uncomfortable right now, let's just go home. So, you know, it's just something she literally can't handle. And it's like, well, those are two very different lifestyles and ways of living that it's not fair really to expect either person to change. At that, it's honestly, you guys just cut your losses. Be friends if you want to be friends, you know, you can chat, that's still fine, but a relationship, it's just, it's not gonna work out. Like, at least in my opinion, I don't know. Maybe I kind of want to go, like, to their Instagrams or whatever to even see, like, if they're still in a relationship. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Okay, excuse me. So we're in the Instagram now. Let's take a look here. When was it? Okay, June. Upset me. Okay. People are talking about. I don't care. I'm just trying to see if there's, like, any indication for being offline. But I appreciate. He doesn't deserve you. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. It's kind of seeming like they're maybe not together. Let's see. The Cleovers. Scrolling to the end for a wholesome tease. So happy to see. Okay, yeah, no, I don't know. From what I'm seeing, it looks like they maybe aren't together still. And, like, honestly, let's be real. It's for the best. Because those two, like, they're just not the kind of people, you know, they're not made for each other. You have an extroverted person and an autistic person, and I kind of don't like what I'm seeing of a lot of the comments necessarily hating on him just because he was extroverted and doing, like, what he was doing. And to be clear, I am not saying that Cleo did anything wrong either, but to automatically sit there and say, oh, well, you know, his making a comment, let's get a drink in you and loosen you up. It's like, you can't hate on him for that and be saying he's a bad person. It's just how he, like, it's just what he knows. He wasn't trying to do anything bad or be insensitive. It's just how he knows they're two people that just don't go well together. And like I said, that's fine, you know? It sometimes doesn't work out. Like, hopefully they can find people who do mesh better with them and that they can be with, you know, and that it, like, can understand each other. Like, he needs someone more extroverted. She needs someone who, and not even necessarily introverted, but introverted would help, but, like, and can understand and be okay with having a much more introverted lifestyle. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about Jasmine and Gino, because they had this whole thing, like, I even talked about it last time, of her not disclosing to him that, yeah, you know, I've been talking with my ex, we're friends, I'm so mature, I can handle it, you can't, that's why I get mad if you do it. And, you know, he did end up finding out, like, yeah, you've been talking to your ex, he wasn't just a friend, because it came out even that she was lying to him, that was an ex, and, you know, he then ends up finding out they live in the same building, and he's like, of all the places in Panama you wanted to live in the same building as your ex, that's messed up. And it's like, no, honestly, I agree 1,000% because that's very double standard. Extremely.
Me. I feel angry and betrayed because I would have never paid for this apartment for Jasmine to stay in if I knew that her ex is living in the same building. And the fact that Jasmine is pretending like this is no big deal, it makes her look very suspicious.
And honestly, he's right for that because he even sat there and said, he's like, I had no reason to believe that Jasmine was unfaithful or untrue or anything, but the fact that she's hiding all this, yeah, it's like, no, that would look suspicious to me too, because it's like, well, if it's not a big deal and you're not hiding anything or cheating, then why were you being secret about all this? Why did you not tell me the truth? That just makes it seem way more suspicious.
You thought about having sex with him since then?
I'll be honest with you, like, it's not that I'm in love with him, it's not that I'm attracted to him, but since when I want to have sex with you, you're never in the mood, you don't want me,
it's because you
don't want to
argue
kiss
with
me,
me
and you have never
all the time.
Okay. So, like, I can understand her frustration. Like, sex is important in a relationship, and it's like, oh, you always say no. But for her then sitting there, like he asked, like, have you ever thought about that? And she's admitting that, yeah, I have thought about him in a sexual way. It's like, no, no, no. You can't deflect and say, well, it's because you never have sex with me. That's deflection. And, like, in her own words, that would basically be cheating because if he talked to any of his exes, and like I said, him sending her nudes to one of his exes to make them jealous, that is still very wrong. But if he were to even so much as say hi to one of his exes, she would be so pissed at him and screaming and mad. But she gonna sit there and say, oh yeah, I've thought about sex with him, but it's because you... So if there's problems, then why don't you talk with him about it? I mean, like, you can't have this double standard of, yeah, I'm friends with my ex and I've even thought about him in sexual ways. But, if you did anything like that, God forbid, I will murder you. Like, no. But anyway, that is going to take care of that train wreck here. You got Jasmine, double standard queen again. Tyree, he's still off doing his thing, of... just, yeah. I mean, he got a private investigator who finally found some information, and maybe he'll finally give up on that, and he's, like, talking to his family and admitting, it was bad. Like, admitting Carmela's not real, so that's good. David, he wasn't even in this episode, so there's nothing really to say about him. Riley and Violet, I mean, they're admitting, like, cultural differences, so they need to communicate more, so that's always good. Statler and Dempsey, I mean... she was sick, but I'm glad they had a nice little meetup. It seemed a little awkward at first, but that's how things go. But, they seem like maybe they'll get along. But yeah, honestly, the biggest thing for me is just the whole Christian and Cleo situation of, it's two very different types of people. And yeah, they say opposites attract, but that is an opposite situation that is not going to work for a relationship. And I don't know if I see Jasmine and Gino lasting either, honestly, because... there's only so much of Jasmine's double standardness you can take. But anyway, that's all for this week's episode. Leave your thoughts and opinions on any of the couples I spoke about, or any, maybe ones I didn't quite speak about down below. Let me know what you're thinking. If you have any other stuff you want me to react to, you can go ahead and leave that down below as a suggestion as well. I am looking into some other stuff to do reactions for. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I've got all my socials linked down below: Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, my main channel where I talk about video games if you're interested in video game nerd stuff. But yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.